In the heart of rural North Carolina, my 4-acre sanctuary, a crystal-clear lake fed by underground springs, has been my refuge since losing my wife, Sarah, to cancer 3 years ago. The lake, inherited from my grandfather who dug it in 1952, is surrounded by towering pines, their scent mingling with the mist that rises like ghosts at dawn. Loons call across the water, and rainbow trout dance beneath the surface. This is where I heal, sipping coffee from Sarah's chipped mug on the dock I built myself. For 15 years, this lake was my private haven, until Karen Whitmore, the HOA president from the new Lakeside luxury estates, decided she could control it. I'm Garrett, a retired municipal finance director with 20 years of experience sniffing out corruption. After Sarah's death, I left my career to find peace in this secluded paradise. But in 2019, developers transformed the old logging road bordering my property into a sprawling subdivision of 47 McMansions. Karen, with her white BMW and personalized plates reading Realtor 1, swept in from California, her blonde highlights and designer purse screaming entitlement. Within 6 months, she'd clawed her way to HOA president, determined to civilize us rural folk. It started subtly. Karen would click across my gravel driveway in stilettos, her perfume clashing with the pine breeze, offering store-bought cookies while eyeing my land. When I declined her lowball offer to buy my property, her smile turned predatory. Soon, complaints flooded in. My dock was unpermitted. I showed permits from 2008. My trout were contaminating the watershed. The inspector laughed, saying my lake was cleaner than municipal water. But Karen was relentless. She unearthed a 1920s ordinance about recreational water usage, convincing her real estate cronies on the county commission to enforce it retroactively. Suddenly, my lake, mine for 3 generations, needed her HOA's approval for any activity. The absurdity peaked one sunset as I floated in my lake, watching loons glide across the water. Sirens shattered the peace. Sheriff Deputy Martinez, looking baffled, rolled up my driveway, citing a $1,000 fine for unauthorized recreational water usage. Karen stood at my property line, arms crossed, her artificial smile never reaching her cold blue eyes. Dripping wet, I stared at the citation. "Ma'am, this is my lake," I said. "I built this dock when you were still in California." But Karen had made her first mistake, targeting a grieving widower who knew how to fight bureaucratic battles. 2 weeks later, she escalated. I was sipping coffee on my porch when her BMW crunched up the driveway, followed by a county inspector, Randy Morrison, clutching a clipboard like a shield. Karen, dripping with fake sweetness, announced an anonymous complaint about my commercial fishing operation. I nearly choked. "Lady, I stock 50 trout for personal fishing." Randy, in a polyester suit reeking of cheap cologne, demanded a business license or daily $500 fines. My years in municipal finance screamed, scam. I showed my personal fishing permits, but Randy barely glanced, insisting the lake was shut down. That night, I fired up my laptop. 20 years of auditing taught me that bureaucrats leave paper trails. Randy's inspector credentials had expired 2 years ago. He was a fraud. I screenshot his license, filed a state complaint, and dug deeper. Public records revealed Randy's unlicensed inspections across 3 counties. When the state board confronted him, he panicked, calling Karen to fix this. Her response? A $3,000 backdated bill from the HOA for dangerous water activities. She was charging me rent to swim in my own lake. But Karen's audacity was her undoing. I studied property law, citing Lucas versus South Carolina, a Supreme Court case barring governments from restricting property use without compensation. Armed with this, I filed a preliminary injunction to halt her shakedown. A surveyor confirmed my suspicions. 3 HOA houses, including Karen's cousins, encroached 15 feet onto state forest land. I tipped off the forestry department, and violation notices hit Karen's subdivision like a thunderbolt. $50,000 fines per structure, plus removal costs. Karen stormed my property, screaming about harassment, her face red enough to stop traffic. "You think you're smart," she shrieked. I handed her my injunction papers, still warm from the printer. "See you in court, Karen." Bring your checkbook." Her heels retreated, the gravel crunching like sweet music. Little did she know, her next move, calling Channel 7 News, would be her second big mistake. Karen Whitmore's reign of terror over lakeside luxury estates was unraveling, and she was desperate. After her failed attempt to fine me for swimming in my own lake, she called Channel 7 News, hoping to paint me as an ecological villain. I was feeding my trout when a news van rumbled up my driveway, its tires crunching gravel like bubble wrap. Reporter Megan Torres approached, trailed by a cameraman, and Karen, dressed in a concerned citizen blazer, her face a mask of fake tears. "Mr. Henderson, are your lake activities threatening the community's water supply?" Megan asked, parroting Karen's loaded questions. I stayed calm, a skill honed from years of municipal meetings. "Test the water yourself," I said, dipping a glass into the lake and drinking it while staring at the camera. Karen's face froze. I handed Megan a folder thick with evidence, pristine water quality reports, 1,892 water rights deeds, and photos of her subdivision's encroachment on state land. The story shifted in real time. Megan turned to Karen, asking for evidence of contamination. Karen stammered, her eye twitching like a cornered politician. I casually mentioned Karen's history of destroying communities in California and Arizona, letting her know I'd done my homework. The broadcast aired, exposing Karen's contradictions and my calm, fact-based responses. Residents flooded my voicemail with support, revealing their own tales of Karen's bullying. Fines for pool parties, garden decorations, even guest parking. But Karen doubled down, filing a health department complaint claiming my cabin's septic system polluted the lake. Inspector Marcus, a professional with proper credentials, found my eco-friendly composting toilet, a model others wanted to emulate. Karen's complaint was dismissed as frivolous and malicious, words that would haunt her in court. Her next move was a $5,000 cease and desist letter from a high-priced Charlotte law firm, alleging my swimming created excessive splashing sounds, violating noise ordinances. I laughed at the creativity. Meanwhile, her HOA minions drove past my property, snapping photos and leaving passive-aggressive notes on my truck. The county sent a barrage of inspectors, building, fire, tax, all triggered by anonymous complaints. It was death by 1,000 paper cuts, a tactic I'd seen in my municipal days to exhaust property owners. I fought back with research. In the county records office, amidst the smell of old paper, I uncovered a bombshell. Karen's subdivision violated a wetlands permit requiring a 25-foot buffer from my lake. 3 houses, including hers, were illegally built, facing $10,000 daily fines or demolition. Her HOA financials were worse. No competitive bidding, $45,000 to her husband's landscaping company, $28,000 to her cousin for pool maintenance, and legal fees for her personal attorney. It was a textbook self-dealing scheme. Karen escalated with a temporary restraining order, claiming I'd threatened violence. My attorney Patricia, a specialist in HOA disputes, was ready. At the hearing, Judge Margaret Yates reviewed my binders of evidence, including security footage showing Karen's harassment. Her witnesses contradicted each other, and Patricia's audio recordings exposed Karen's unhinged rants. The judge dismissed the restraining order, issued a protective order against Karen, and awarded me $2,500 in legal fees, warning her of perjury charges. Karen's courthouse meltdown, screaming about a corrupt system, made the front page. Then Patricia found the game changer in the HOA charter. I could join as a voting member, controlling 31% of the vote due to my property's size. Karen's obsession with controlling my lake had handed me the power to oust her. But Patricia uncovered an even bigger threat. The subdivision's emergency housing variance, granted after Hurricane Florence, expired in 6 months. Without renewal, 31 houses faced demolition, and assessments would triple for the rest. Karen knew this and had been lobbying commissioners, my old municipal contacts, unsuccessfully, thanks to her public tantrums. Karen called an emergency HOA meeting, limiting attendance to suppress dissent. I had 72 hours to file my membership application and rally allies. Janet, a retired teacher fined for a bird bath. Bob, an accountant who'd spotted $43,000 in unexplained expenses. And Lisa, a civil engineer whose drainage plans Karen had illegally altered. Around my kitchen table, we planned our attack, expose Karen's fraud, reveal the zoning crisis, and propose my membership as the solution. The community center showdown loomed, and with Patricia's legal expertise, we were ready to end Karen's tyranny with facts, not fury. The final showdown at the Lakeside Luxury Estates Community Center was a spectacle of justice. Karen Whitmore, in a last-ditch effort to save her HOA empire, had gone nuclear, hiring a shady private investigator, Wade, to stalk me. He was caught trespassing, spilling to deputies that Karen paid him to dig up dirt. Her social media smear campaign hit a new low, falsely claiming my late wife, Sarah, committed suicide. But while Karen spun lies, my team, Janet, Bob, Lisa, and attorney Patricia, built an airtight case. Bank records showed Karen embezzled $85,000 for a Myrtle Beach condo, disguised as emergency roof repairs. Her history of fraud across 3 states sealed her fate. The community center buzzed with 67 residents, the largest HOA turnout ever. Channel 7's cameras captured Karen's nervous jewelry fidgeting, her U-Haul trailer parked outside betraying her escape plan. She tried to control the meeting, limiting discussion, but Patricia presented my membership application, granting me 31% voting power. Karen's face drained of color. "You can't discuss confidential HOA business," she screamed as I took the podium. "Ma'am, embezzlement isn't confidential, it's criminal," I replied, eyeing the camera. Bob's presentation exposed her fraud, $67,000 to her husband's landscaping company for $23,000 worth of work, pool maintenance overcharges, and legal fees for her divorce attorney. My investigator's report revealed Karen's alias, Karen Whitmore Johnson, and her trail of destroyed communities. Residents gasped as her condo purchase flashed on screen, tied to HOA funds. Karen lunged at Bob's laptop, shrieking about conspiracies, but her supporters slipped toward the exits. When Karen accused me of threatening children, Janet stood up, her voice trembling with fury. "You fined me $200 for a bird bath, Karen. When did we become so cruel?" Residents shared their own stories of harassment, the room erupting in years of pent-up frustration. County Prosecutor Williams stepped forward, announcing charges: embezzlement, fraud, false police reports, and witness intimidation. Detective Hayes cuffed Karen as she screamed about illegal surveillance, her heels slipping comically on the floor. The U-Haul revealed stolen HOA property, including a lawnmower and pool equipment. Residents voted unanimously to remove Karen, electing Bob, Janet, and Lisa to a new board. I declined a position, preferring to advise. The community began healing, with neighbors talking like humans, not adversaries. 6 months later, my lake, now Sarah's sanctuary, hosts fishing lessons and community swims. The zoning crisis was resolved through my municipal connections, saving 31 homes. Monthly assessments dropped to $180, and property values rose 12%. Karen got 4 years in prison, her condo seized. Her husband, Rick, received 18 months. Fake Inspector Randy got probation. The HOA embraced transparency, posting financials online and holding town halls. My testimony helped pass Karen's Law, mandating HOA audits statewide. The lake that saved me after Sarah's death became a symbol of community healing. Last week, a Tennessee veteran called about his own HOA nightmare. As Janet taught her granddaughter to fish and Bob grilled burgers, I grabbed my notebook. "Tell me everything," I said. Justice isn't just possible, it's inevitable when good people fight back with evidence and courage.